Welcome to I Hate James Dobson. If he was an animal rights activist, he could have been called James Dogson. If he was in VeggieTales, he could have been called James Bobson. And if he was a porn star, he could have been called James Hogson.
Amazing. Amazing. And if he had a friend who was a toad, he could have been James Frogson.
Incredible. If he was a swamp witch, he could have been James Bogson.
Yep. If he was on Twin Peaks and he carried around a piece of wood, he could have been James Logson. Uh-oh. Second recording of the night.
Welcome to I Hate James Dobson. My name is Jake. I'm a former evangelical turned queer sex therapist. I have been so blessed. My co-host is my best friend, and her name is Brooke. That's a haiku. Hi, Brooke.
Haiku.
Brooke, how are you?
I'm so great because guess what?
Important life update.
We got pizza. Deedle deedle doodle doo. We are eating pizza. Deedle doodle doo. We're officially successes.
We got pizza. We talked about life for like an hour, and now we're back in it.
Now we're back in it. But this is really growth for us because we started with like chips and soda, candy bar and soda, and now we're in the big leagues. Tyler, I got my pizza. You don't have to worry about me anymore.
I'll make sure to tell him personally.
Yeah. So I feel like it's like the first class of podcasting now.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Us, Behind the Bastards, and The Daily, all in the same...
That's right.
Same stratosphere.
That's right.
Brooke, how are your trips going?
My trips are going great. It's only been, 1 hour since I talked about how I'm leaving for Canada. But by this point, I will be back from Canada. My trip to Canada was incredible. If all went as planned, then this is such a weird way to talk about life. Then I was in Toronto and I was in Hamilton looking at some sites from a certain TV show. And then I was at Niagara Falls, where I saw the falls and I didn't drown. What if I drowned? And then this was the recording you had.
This was your last public statement.
I didn't drown.
We're continuing our Pride episode. So, Brooke, what's something that's queer to you, but not objectively queer?
What do you mean?
Queer-coded is perhaps a way of saying it.
Oh, okay.
Like blazers, to me, are like queer-coded. Like, you don't have to be queer to wear them. There's a lot of straight guys who wear them, but especially if I see a woman in a blazer, I think that's family.
Many drinks.
Ooh, classic bisexual move.
Yeah, and I know other people know that too, but I've started to look around at my friends and loved ones, and I'm like, who's got one drink at a time and who's got four going? I can see it. Oh, look at you.
I say with my 3 drinks and
maybe there's something about you I don't know. There's a lot of bisexual stuff, right? Like there's the big trope about like sitting in chairs and how no one can sit normally in a chair. Mm-hmm. Sneakers with jeans and like a dressy shirt feels kind of bisexual. The bean.
The bean has come up a number of times. I think that's delightful.
Kidding.
We're continuing our Pride episodes thematically. Last episode, we watched a film from Dobson's 11-part video series for Bringing Up Boys.
Question.
Yeah.
Was that all filmed like in one sitting?
I don't think all 11 were, but a lot of them were.
Oh my God. So all those people in the audience were like, let's go to this long ass lecture.
Let's go to a weekend of James Dobson recording videotapes. Absolutely.
But
that's
specifically,
catnip.
not just about like parenting, but specifically about
Bringing Up Boys.
And making them not gay.
I mean, that's a part of Bringing Up Boys.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Okay.
I don't actually know how the logistics for signing up work, but I imagine it was kind of like a weekend thing or a couple of weekends and you show up to some.
Did he do one of these for girls?
I haven't been able to find it.
No, he didn't.
We watched.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Go
I just
for
have
it.
a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You can cut all of these. Did Shirley ever do speaking? Like, did she ever do any of this?
Interesting. Not that I've been able to see. She like co-wrote stuff with Jimmy.
Okay.
I have not seen VHS tapes that say like of Shirley Dobson. Editing Jake. I was unable to find any Focus on the Family videos starring or featuring Shirley, although she was a guest on Dobson's radio shows with some frequency. But she was the chairman for the National Day of Prayer for a long time and gave speeches in that role. I watched some of those speeches, and honestly, she just doesn't have the star quality that James Dobson does. Say what you will about him, and I do, but he knew how to captivate a room. Shirley doesn't. Like this.
In George Washington's diary, he said they spent hours in prayer at the church where William Rogers was the pastor. When the delegates met again, to the amazement of many, the dissension was gone. They were of one accord, and our incredible Constitution was adopted.
When we were recording the last episode and you talked about the way that he pulled the guy aside and was like, were you cruising? It occurred to me, I don't know a lot about Dobby outside of the spotlight, right? Mm-hmm. Like what kind of person he was or how he interacted with people. And I just really want to get someone on this podcast who has firsthand experience with him. And maybe more than just met him, because I'm sure he's a showman when he meets you, but someone who worked with him a little or knew him a little. I would like to know. I mean, maybe he was just a boring guy, but I have a feeling.
No, he was a ruthless capitalist. And I don't say that as a joke. He was a very aggressive power player, I think. The political plays, the business decisions, the stories that I have heard, and I have talked to some people who've known him personally.
Oh, okay.
It's a public-facing persona of kindness. And I think he'd like to think of himself as generally affable and whatever, but also pretty... He created an empire, and you have to be a certain way to create an empire like that.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I would like to hear some tales. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
We watched the video, The Origins of Homosexuality, and discussed the story of John Polk, a gay man turned ex-gay turned ex-ex-gay. And we also talked about Will and Grace. Today, we are covering the next videotape in the series. The last video at times made me uncomfortable. This video made me rage. Polk was the face of the ex-gay movement, but today we're talking about the rot under the hood. Brooke, we are talking about the very ominously titled Preventing Homosexuality.
Oh, no. Is that a small child on the front?
Yep.
He just gets to be on the Preventing Homosexuality tape.
And Routine Panic. I find it really interesting that they split them between videotapes. I guess they just didn't want one gay tape. Because these are filmed back to back. I didn't include it in the script because it didn't make narrative sense. But that clip of John Polk talking about happened in the year 2000 when he was caught at Mr. P's gay bar. That technically is from this video. It starts with him on stage with Dobson and then transitions to the actual point of this video.
Is Mr. P still standing?
It is not. I checked.
Reach out if you've ever been to a gay bar called Twice as Nice in West Virginia. Because randomly I have. And they served me a giant glass of wine for $2 with ice in it and a straw.
Incredible.
Yeah. Twice as Nice. West Virginia.
In this video, Dobson introduces a very special guest.
Called a devil incarnate.
Well, at the end of our time, last time, we were beginning to talk about the origins of homosexuality, especially in early child development. And when that subject comes up, one name stands before me as the foremost authority on this topic, and his name is Dr. Joseph Nicolosi. Dr. Nicolosi is a psychologist in private practice. He's a clinical psychologist, and he has just written a book called Preventing Homosexuality that gets into those developmental factors, and I think you will find this very, very enlightening in understanding where this developmental problem originates and how we can deal with it. And so let me welcome now, and would you help me welcome Dr. Joseph Nicolosi.
We have mentioned this man before. Brooke, when the name Dr. Joseph Nicolosi was mentioned, you gave me a look. What do you remember about him?
That his name was Dr. Joseph Nicolosi, and that I think maybe I thought it sounded like a Simpsons character.
It gives me Antichrist vibes.
Yeah.
We will talk more about this absolute ghoul and what he represents. But for now, let's focus on what he believes. Joseph Nicolosi states that homosexuality in men and because it's bringing up boys and they are also misogynistic, they don't really talk about lesbians in any depth,
Right.
is caused by a gender identity crisis. He points to John and Mike's story from last time of absent or critical fathers. To not be gay, you need to know what it means to be a man. And his view of masculinity is really something.
Oh, God. It's interesting to see these videos and faces and stuff. I knew it would be him.
yeah. When you mentioned some guy's beard in the first episode, I was like, I wonder.
I knew it would be him. Because he made a smirky, gross, smug face. Like this. And he was sitting like this.
I hate this fucker so much.
Ew, I had a feeling it was him. I was like, this audience guy is creepy. He looks like the devil.
You mentioned this. I titled these clips in my notes. Clip number 1 is literally called Devil Incarnate. I cannot tell you how much I hate this guy.
I don't even know what he's about to say, but I can tell, like, for those who can't see him, I can tell you, like, there's just something icky about him. Not creepy dude icky, although that too, but, like, came from a different realm, yucky, icky. All right, here we go.
You have written in your book, and again, it's not yet published, but I hope when it is, that every parent of boys and girls will read your book. It is that significant, and you've allowed me to quote quite a bit of it in my book, Bringing Up Boys. But you have talked about homosexuality as a developmental problem, that it occurs from the relationship between the mother and the father, typically. Now, there's child abuse and there's all kinds of other things that are going on. But describe that primary relationship difficulty that leads in this direction.
Well, basically, both boys and girls are first identified with the mother. The mother is the primary love object for the boy and the girl. But the boy has the additional developmental task of disidentifying with the mother and connecting with the father. And that's extra work for him to do, which the girl doesn't have to do. The girl maintains her primary relationship with the mother, and that's where she gets her femininity from.
Yeah. You, in fact, talked in your book about the fact that boys are not born knowing how to be male.
Exactly.
They have to learn that.
Robert Stoller said, masculinity is an accomplishment. It's an achievement. And this might explain why we have more male homosexuality than lesbianism. Some people say 2-to-1, 5-to-1, 7-to-1, because it's easier to be female than it is to be male. If you do nothing, the male will not become masculine.
I think I need one more piece of pizza.
So give me your initial reactions.
Like every other fucking thing, it's just a pile of trash.
Correct.
But for some reason it is more infuriating. All those people nodding along, all those women nodding along.
It's, perhaps this goes without saying, but none of this is true. That's not,
of course.
Sexual identity is not at all the same as gender identity. That's not how gender identity is formed.
It's not even how attachment works.
It's not how attachment works. It's just as wrong can be, just like factually incorrect.
And he's
at
just
every
sitting
level.
up there like some sort of doctor expert, but what is this based on?
We will get to that. I mentioned before we get into section 2 of the script is just me going through psychological history of how we get here.
I really am getting more pizza.
There's another clip that I didn't get that I will put in here.
When our son was 5 years of age, we would go out to get in the car. The whole family was going to go to eat. And there are 4 of us, a boy and a girl, and Shirley and me. And Ryan would very typically say, "Hey, Dad." I'd say, "What?" He'd say, "Us guys will sit in the front seat. The girls will sit in the back seat." Now, he wasn't lording this over his sister and his mother. He was saying, "I'm like you. I'm a guy like you. Us guys are going to sit in the front seat." And that was a healthy thing, you know. He was identifying with me. He's saying, "I want to be a man like you."
A little twist on that, my interpretation, the first time I've heard this, I think he was lording it over it. The boy has to feel...
Well, I didn't want to say that.
Which shows to me a couple things. How hierarchical their view of gender is. Not only are men and women separate, men are better. Masculinity is an accomplishment. If you do nothing, you'll be female. But if you work hard, that's how you become a man. It also shows how much Dobson actively is lying to people. He knows what the right thing to say is, what sells, how to not get canceled or whatever, even when he doesn't believe it. Mm-hmm. The beats that Nicolosi talks about, the framework that he creates, those are the beats that John Paul made his story around. Right? It's because you weren't close to your dad. It's because of this thing. It's because of this thing. And that's why you are gay. Perhaps, obviously, Nicolosi rejects the idea that one is born that way. He says that little gay boys are actually a condition he calls pre-homosexual. If left untreated, then they will develop into full-blown faggots. But there's still hope. Here are the signs of pre-homosexuality, according to Nicolosi.
Oh, no.
We talked earlier about pre-homosexuality. In your book, which I've quoted here, you said there are 5 characteristics that parents need to look for in that condition. And then if they see those characteristics, they really need to address them and get help from somebody who understands what you have talked about. Number 1, repeatedly stated desire to be or insistence that he or she is the other sex. 2, in boys, preference for cross-dressing or simulating female attire, and in girls, insisting on wearing only stereotypical masculine clothing. Number 3, strong and persistent preference for cross-sexual roles in make-believe play or persistent fantasies of being the other sex. Number 4, intense desire to participate in stereotypical games and pastimes of the other sex. And number 5, a strong preference for playmates of the other sex. When you see those 5, there's a problem developing.
Big problem. In fact, you can have a problem without that graphic, even more subtle, you can have a problem. I put out the very graphic signs for parents to pay attention to.
And when you see those 5, there is a 75% chance
If you do nothing,
that you do nothing, he will go on to become homosexual.
That's why we call it a pre-homosexual child.
This is the craziest bullshit I've ever fucking heard. 75% chance according to what? And
His butt.
and also like it's like gender doesn't exist yet for kids that little.
Mostly, yes. About 3 years old is when kids have a pretty consistent sense of gender identity, which is around the time that they are talking about here. But
So a little girl who wants to wear jeans and play baseball is a homosexual, a pre-homosexual?
according to them, yeah. Gender identity, gender presentation are all different constructs, right? You could very well be like a pretty gay boy, but a gay boy who likes to cross-dress and have girl roles and have girlfriends and still very much be a boy. That's possible, right? Like, faggotry is not mutually exclusive from masculinity. Whatever. Go on.
It's just that the argument kind of falls apart when you apply it to girls. You know what I mean? Because the real argument is don't be a sissy.
Yes.
Don't be a fag.
Yes.
And don't be a girl, right?
Yes.
And so a girl who's doing that, whether she's actually gay or not, the argument falls apart a little bit because the argument is don't be a girl. So a girl wanting to be a boy, like in the 70s, 80s, it was a common trope on like sitcoms and TV shows that like some little neighborhood girl was a tomboy and she could do what the boys, but you never saw some little boy in a dress.
Well, because their view of gender is hierarchical and man and boy is good.
Right.
And so, of course, a girl would want to be a boy. Being a boy is the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
But who the fuck would want to be a girl? That's a problem. That means you're fucked up in the head.
Yeah. I mean, this is so bizarre.
Obviously, again, this is all fake and bad and wrong in so many ways. But I'm about as queer as they come, in my humble opinion. I'm a they-them who has made their entire life centered around being queer. And none of those apply to me. I never wanted to be a girl. I didn't cross-dress as a kid. That came later. I don't have preferences for girl roles like mom, I guess. I don't really know what games of the opposite sex means.
Sports.
I don't like...
Or dolls.
Sure, I didn't like either of those. I didn't like war games, I guess, but I mostly played Pokemon and climbed trees. I had friends who were girls for sure, but I also had friends who were boys. And all of my best friends were also boys. Like,
It always, when I was a kid, now I know it was a very long caveman time ago, but like when I was a kid, it really just felt more like kids.
yes.
Like you ran around all, I mean, because we didn't have as many like electronics. You just ran around, you played in yards. Sometimes we would like, I guess more girls would go off and play like house and more boys would go off and like kick things.
Sure.
But it wasn't gendered separation. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was just where I'm from, but like,
When I have taught about how to work with kids who are questioning their gender, because there are kids who are trans, just like there are kids who are gay, the way that I've described kind of the quote unquote correct approach, it's not gender neutrality, it's gender irrelevance. You're a boy and you want to wear a dress? Okay. You're a girl who likes trucks? Cool. You were assigned female at birth, but say you're a boy? All right. Cool. What, like, that is not
You
the
have
defining
to-
aspect of people's identity or lives,
Right.
especially at that time.
you have to learn that those things, I guess that's what I mean. Like, yes, gender identity exists at that age, but you have to learn what gender those things are. Like, why is a truck a boy thing?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I had to learn that at a certain point, right? Like, I remember wanting to, I built a little, my dad was making those cars that Boy Scouts get to do, where they
Yeah,
race
Pinewood
cars.
Derbies.
Yeah, and he was doing that with my brothers, and I was like, I want to do that. And so he reluctantly did it with me once and then kind of sent me on my way. And I wanted to do it again. And he got nervous because he was like, that's like, no, we're not doing that. That's for boys. It wasn't about a fucking car. It's like I wanted to hang out with my dad.
Yes.
So that's where I learned, like, oh, cars are boys,
Yes.
right? But like, why? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just so
Also,
angry.
it's not listed in the risk factors of pre-homosexuality, but I had and have a good relationship with both of my parents. My dad
Right.
wasn't distant or critical. My mom wasn't domineering. My dad actually invested a lot of time and space to try to invest in us and build a relationship with us and model healthy masculinity to us. Like, I don't think Joseph Nicolosi could ever have a conversation about being non-binary. I think that would cause him to short circuit. But my version of non-binary, my experience with gender, is not gender confusion.
Right. And the other thing is, like, I think it's a little offensive to say that a girl doesn't need to connect with her dad.
Yeah, it's also incorrect.
It's incorrect, obviously. But, like, it's a weird thing to be like, girl doesn't have to work hard because she just gets to stay with mom. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's a whole dynamic of itself, right? Like, oh, I'm going to hate this.
It's not the focus of his presentation here, but something that they touch on that I want to spend a moment on is Nicolosi also states that homosexuality is narcissistic. You are turned on by other men because you are functionally turned on by yourself. That is this. It's a version of autogynephilia.
That's not even what narcissism
No.
is.
Have you heard of the phrase autogynephilia?
No.
Good. I'm glad your brain is not broken. Autogynephilia is a somewhat common anti-trans talking point in some academic circles. Basically, it's that trans women are secretly gay men who just get off on the idea of being a woman. And it's like all sorts of weird. It's like, I am the object of my sexuality and I'm such the object of my sexuality, I'm going to do a trans about it. It's fucked up and it's wrong. But as we will get into more today, this shit that we're talking about here still lives on in, especially now, anti-trans talking points, because bigotry is never new. It's just recycled.
Can I just, I know we have like beaten this horse to death, but can I just say, why do they fucking care so much?
We'll get to it.
Like, why does Dr. Nicolosi care so much?
Because, I mean, we talked about it last time, we'll talk about it more, because it's not a clinical argument, it's a political one.
Right.
If this is a thing that can be changed, even if it never actually happens, then you don't need equal rights and dignity, you need treatment. You need to be fixed. And that preserves the hierarchy of gender, the patriarchy, which is an argument that I'll be making throughout the course of this video. In this video, I will. Another thing they touch on that I want to spend a moment just to dig in about, they say that homosexuality is connected to sexual abuse. Exposing kids to sexuality early, before they are ready, can be confusing and painful, and can cause people to question their identity in all sorts of ways. But it doesn't make you gay. He confuses correlation and causation. I would say he purposely confuses the two. people aren't gay because they're molested. Being a gay kid, especially in this time and in this culture, can be confusing and isolating, making you a prime target for abuse. Okay, so you have a child at risk of wanting to kiss boys one day. What do you do?
Hook them up with some boys.
And that's why you're the cool aunt.
All right, now the question that begs to be asked is with regard to prevention. You've written a book called Preventing Homosexuality. The question is how? What do you do when a family comes to you and they've got an effeminate boy, he wants to wear girls' clothing, he is beginning to sound and talk and look like a girl. What do you do when the family comes to you?
First of all, basically what I really wind up doing is telling parents to do what in their gut they want to do. They know there's something wrong with it. They want to take action, but they're intimidated. They're getting mixed messages. They're getting confused messages from the media, from teachers, from other counselors. They're said, don't do anything. Your son is gay. If you try to change him, he'll be traumatized, et cetera, et cetera. We give the opposite advice. Father, get more involved. Mother, back off. And consistently tell your son he's a boy. And when the boy does something effeminate, you say, you don't want to do that. That's what girls do, and you're a boy. And being a boy is special.
So you're not shaming him.
No, you
No.
avoid the shame.
Not shaming.
That is
But you are
literally
teaching
shame.
him that there is something.
Being a boy is special, and mommy and daddy love you and are happy when you're a boy. And what we can accomplish in 3 or 4 months with the cooperation of mother and father takes years to be done with adult homosexuals.
Yeah, it takes years to inflict that amount of trauma on an adult.
I have a lot to say. First of all, then years pass by and then they come to us and we undo all of that
Correct.
fucking bullshit. But the other thing is, they're really confusing homosexuality and like transness.
Yes.
Like a little boy who is showing signs of being gay isn't a girl.
Correct.
He's not necessarily a girl or trying to be a girl or trans, right? Like
Yes.
maybe, but like maybe not. Like I have seen gay children where it's very clear when they are little children that that's what's going on. And they're not playing with dolls. I mean, just what you just said. Like they're not girls. And I don't need to remind them that they are boys because they're boys.
Yes.
They know that. There's not a question of that. So this idea that you will recognize your gay son because he'll walk in wearing lipstick and a Dolly Parton wig is outrageous.
That'd be a cool kid.
I mean, that would be an awesome kid. And that might be some kids, right? But like,
It's
and then shame it out of them?
yes.
That's horrible.
It's so interesting that their ideas of homosexuality are just an inversion of masculinity according to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's some problem with their masculinity, and obviously that is incorrect, but I think that attitude is also responsible for so much internalized sexism that a lot of gay men have.
Yeah.
Of I can't show that I am feminine, I can't show that I like Drag Race. We talk with Alyssa Bars, go, yes girl, we were talking about this prior off air, but the amount of like old gay men who I know who get so upset when you ever refer to anything as drag about them. It's like, no, what? Or my favorite is when gay men really object when I use girl as when, as they say dude, I'll say girl. They're like, I am not a girl. It's like, calm down. Yeah, you are.
I know.
You're a queen. Let's be real. Their whole idea of therapy is just shaming kids' behaviors.
It's conditions of worth.
Yes,
Right?
it is instilling conditions of worth real early.
We love you when you're a boy. We don't love you when you're not a boy.
And again, I know you know this. We've talked about this before. Gender is a social construct. What it means to be a boy is not one fixed identity throughout time across cultures. There's a specific meaning about masculinity and boyhood and manhood in our time and place here. And that is meaningful as a piece of identity for people. But to say, like, objectively you're doing boy wrong is
This isn't even
stupid.
about homosexuality. It's about teaching toxic masculinity.
Which is the antidote to homosexuality.
Right. And then this idea that dad stepped forward and mom stepped back. I'm like, what?
Because they're identifying too much with the mom. They're identifying too much with the feminine.
It's not even about homosexuality. It's about villainizing women.
Correct. This is where fun conversations around intersectionality come in, where it's like the struggle between gay men, trans women, and cis women, all not exclusively, but like sexism is at the root of that. Trans misogyny is still misogyny. Internalized sexism in gay men is still sexism.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, a gay man, I just already said this, a gay man is not a woman.
Even the most effeminate gay man is not a woman.
And, like, a drag queen is not a woman. It's like its own thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Are you familiar with the internet personality named Jeffree Star?
Yeah. Was he a makeup person?
Yeah, as a makeup person. Super canceled. Super, we don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I missed all that.
Bad person. Good for you. Your brain is so not rotted by culture. Jeffree Star got famous because Jeffree Star looks like a girl.
Yeah.
Has long hair, is really into makeup, wears purses and heels and nails and all, but is very insistent that he is a man.
Okay.
And there's plenty of things to cancel Jeffree Star for. Him not conforming to gender roles in that way is not one. Like, yeah, he's a guy who just looks like that and does that.
Sure.
Cool. After this, Nicolosi and Dobson answer questions from the audience.
No!
And take some time to bemoan the cultural acceptance of homosexuality.
Did these people pay to come see this?
I would not be shocked.
Like, so you paid money, and the information you're getting is, if your son...
The information you're getting is bully your kids.
Yeah, but also it's like, what new information are you getting? Like, if you already kind of think this way and you're already a focus on the family person and blah, blah, blah.
It's not new information.
Right, because then my guess is you already think like, oh, my son's a sissy. I should bully him into acting like a boy. But this is just sort of like confirming what they already think.
Yep.
I came from a very promiscuous background heterosexually. And when I accepted Christ and got married, yeah, I still had some temptation, but certainly not something I could not overcome. And yet I hear continuously how difficult it is for a homosexual to move out of that lifestyle. And I guess I'm troubled and I'm confused as to why, once they've gone to the therapy and once they recognize the cause of it, why is it so difficult to come out of it, whereas from a heterosexual promiscuity, it doesn't seem to be that difficult?
Well, that's a great question.
Good question. Very good question. Two reasons. First of all, you're not fighting the culture like these individuals are fighting. You're not seeing heterosexually promiscuous characters be on television, on the media, being glorified. That's number one.
Wait a minute. I gotta pause this. I want to make sure I understood that. You're not seeing heterosexual promiscuous characters in the media.
Valerice, that's not the word that he used.
This is 2002?
Yep.
You're only seeing heroic homosexual characters. Just Will has to carry it all from Will and Grace? Are you fucking kidding me? Can I also, I'm sorry. Why is it so hard? Because they're gay.
It's absurd.
I ate too much pizza.
So, and you're not being told across the board that you can't change. This is who you are. So that's the first thing. You're not fighting a culture. Second thing is, again, we go back to the original hurt. This is not about sexuality. This is about identity, core gender identity, which they continually try to relieve the pain of through homosexual behavior. So it's really a deeper core.
You know, what's interesting to me, Joseph, is that the intensity of homosexuality compared to heterosexuality is almost off the chart.
It is off the charts.
You know, and that's an interesting question too, because what heterosexual do you know whose politics is determined by their sexual activity, whose reading material, whose vacations and trips, whose work assignment, and whose passion in everything they do is governed by their sexuality? Where does that intensity come
James
from?
Dobson!
That goes to the question we were just asked.
It goes to a desperate attempt to solidify and reinforce a lie. That's basically it. They have bought a lie that cannot be substantiated biologically, in nature, in any other way. and they are continually promoting. It's like a cult. In many ways, you can make the argument that the gay community is a cult, in the sense that it's a false idea that is constantly being reinforced.
Oh, they like that, though, because we're always saying they're a cult.
Yes.
I don't even understand what the fuck is going on.
I do have a whole section of it, which we'll get to, where I'm going to talk about the psychological origins in the field that they're basing this off of, like kind of the psychological history of these things. But I think generally to understand this as a clinical argument is to misunderstand it. They're not making a clinical argument. They're making a political one.
Of course, yeah.
And their fundamental assumption is that we deserve the right to oppress gay people. Gay people shouldn't exist. And then they need to come up with any justification to get there. And so it's very much the white coat effect, where someone has a PhD and wearing a white coat, you're going to listen to them. Here's a guy giving justification that, oh, no, I'm not gay. It sounds close enough, I guess. And it aligns enough with the worldview that they've already been taught. So it's accepted by them. Imagine orienting your entire life around something so arbitrary. Anyway, I have a gender reveal party to attend that will determine what kind of fabric my kid is allowed to put on their body and what interests and hobbies they're going to have.
That's right.
Also, the reason why gay people, especially at this time, tend to make their whole life seemingly revolve around their sexuality is because that's what you do to them, James Dobson.
Yeah.
You create that. That's what you see them as primarily. That is how you treat them. The amount of evangelicals in my life who completely changed their entire way of interacting with me once it came out. Nothing else had changed, just now I said I'm gay. Their whole opinion of me changed, because that becomes the defining trait of them. And at a time especially like this, when it is, you could be fired for being gay, you would be harassed pretty much anytime you walk down the street holding your partner's hand, unless you're in someplace like Chicago, and even then it would be tough. We're going to protect each other and ourselves. You have made this the most salient part of our lives. And actually, when I'm with other queer people, that's not really what we talk about. That's not really what our lives are. We create the safety around us to then be the full people we want to be within that sphere.
That's right. If you ostracize and oppress an entire group of people, then of course they need to find safe spaces to go to for vacation and to eat and to be entertained, and spaces where they're not going to feel oppressed or hated. So you sort of created it.
Yes. And I have not met a single person more obsessed with other people's sex and sexuality than James Dobson.
For real.
James Dobson's entire politics is informed by what people are doing, what he's doing with his body. He wouldn't go to fucking Key West or whatever. His destinations for his vacations are so informed by his sexuality. There's just a broader selection available, so
Right.
it feels less acute to him.
Right. You know, I think what's scary the most about Joseph Nicolosi, usually the people who have these like big anti-gay stances, I have this like little sense, I'm like, you're just like kind of a closet Mo, right?
Yeah.
He is not.
No.
He is a scary ass straight, like probably white supremacist. Like he's
Eugenicist.
Scary. Yeah.
We started this whole podcast by talking about how James Dobson's a eugenicist.
Right.
And that is a theme that has come up a number of times, and this fits into that. Being homosexual is not the correct way to be. We need to force people to conform to our ideas of what an ideal human is.
Like, James Dobson, I think, believes all of this, but also there's like he's famous and he's making money and he's a showman and blah, 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 right? Then every once in a while you come across a guy like this where I'm like, I think he just for real believes all of this.
He's just in it for the love of the game. Yeah.
I thought you said for the love of the gays. I was like, wait, what? Oh, this is so scary.
So that's kind of a recap of what they believe and kind of all the fucked up stuff. I do have a palate cleanser for you.
Okay. I can't wait.
So this is a short clip of Dobson reading a letter from a 13-year-old gay boy. The content super doesn't matter. We talked about it in our original Bringing Up Boys episode. There's just this clip that I want to play for you.
Kids have always called me names, gay, fag, and so on. That seems to go along with it, doesn't it?
James Dobson said fag. And so, Brooke, just for me, but for you, I made this.
Oh my God.
And a fag's in a cradle and a silver spoon.
Oh, I'm going to do it again.
And it fags in the cradle and a silver spoon.
How can something I can't hold be my prized possession? That's the best thing. Do it again.
And it fags in the cradle and a silver spoon.
You really take good care of me, Jake. Every single episode where you, and the shorter they get, the funnier they are. But every single episode, I'll be like, oh, that would be a good place to put it. Oh, they're not going to do it. Okay, they're not going to do it. And then it comes and I'm like, God damn it, that's so fucking funny. I just don't, I'm worried because I think I still have a lot of life left to live, and I don't know if anything will ever be funnier to me than this James Dobson singing Cats in the Cradle, and now Fags in the Cradle.
The clip in my phone is Fags in the Cradle.
What a gift.
If you want to hear the full thing, join our Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon.com/IHateJamesDobson.
Put it on the Patreon. The jokes are getting so specific. I'm so worried that someone's going to walk around with a t-shirt that says Fags in the Cradle.
And we will make that merch.
Jake, that was incredible. I want to know about the experience for you of knowing you were going to get to play that for me.
I was so excited. It took me everything in my power not to bring you along every step of the way of this journey. I've known that I've been doing this since January.
Oh my God.
I said this episode is not as much fun, but there's something that I'm very excited to show you.
That is so, I'm so stunned that I can't even, I haven't even processed it yet. That's so good. That I needed that because I was starting to get real heated. I don't have to watch any more Nicolosi.
Nope.
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him so much. Are you going to cover this? Is he still alive? What's his deal?
He thankfully is dead. I will talk a little bit about him and his life in a bit. Part 2 of the script is history of conversion therapy in the psychological literature. I have an idea for an episode called Psychology is the Real Villain. I don't know that I'll ever actually write it, but this is a good, I think, introduction to that at least. Joseph Nicolosi is perhaps the most evil person we've talked about, at least to me, but he didn't come from nowhere. There's a rich history in psychology of torturing people, especially queer people. Welcome to Jake's lecture on psychological history. I have a master's degree. The field of psychology began with Freud, kind of. Or it's a good place to start most stories about psychology as a field. TM, leave me alone. Prior to Freud, some people theorized that you could cure homosexuality through hypnosis or transplanting straight guys' balls into gay men. No further comment there.
Wait, what?
Nope, we're moving on.
No,
Freud actually had a very progressive view of sexuality, kind of. Importantly for us, he didn't see homosexuality as a disorder. He did think that it could theoretically be changed, but only under incredibly favorable circumstances, and trying to change to be straight to avoid social disapproval was not a strong enough reason, which was huge for rich white people in Europe at that time. Change, to Freud, meant helping people grow in their heterosexual interests, not diminishing their homosexual ones. So it was kind of making people bi and not straight.
Hell yeah.
Complicated person. A mom of a gay son wrote to Freud, and this was his response, quote, "I gather from your letter that your son is a homosexual. It is nothing to be ashamed of, no vice, no degradation. It cannot be classified as an illness. We consider it to be a variation of the sexual function produced by a certain arrest of sexual development. If, by asking me if I can help your son, you mean, I suppose, if I can abolish homosexuality and make normal heterosexuality take its place, the answer is, in a general way, we cannot promise to achieve it. In a certain number of cases, we succeed in developing the blighted germs of heterosexual tendencies, which are present in every homosexual. In the majority of cases, it is no more possible. It is a question of the quality and age of the individual. The result of treatment cannot be predicted." So, not woke, not feminist icon Freud, but it's not a disorder. It's not something to be ashamed of. Yeah. There's a little bit of room for a conversion therapy idea in there. But by and large, he's saying don't worry about it. It's fine. That's how he is.
The same thing we've been saying, because if you take the politics out of it, and honestly kind of the religion out of it, right? Mm-hmm. Then what he's basically saying is I don't know, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yes. Now, Freud was not based in the United States, and in the United States specifically, cultural mores around sexuality inform psychology. Being gay had to be bad, so let's look for how such a problem could occur. And as we've said in the show before, we see the patterns that we look for, right? So US psychologists, by and large, in this time, were trying to like find the roots to try to cure homosexuality. Themes of conditioning, nature versus nurture. People tried conversion therapy, like aversion, negative conditioning. If you look at gay porn and we shock you, your brain will make it bad. There was such a stigma around queerness that people assumed it was like 0.5% of the population, maybe. My personal problematic favorite, a guy named Alfred Kinsey, significantly shifted the cultural understanding of sexuality, including and especially homosexuality. Self-report measures are so flawed. Who wants to tell a scientist in the 1930s that you're gay? So Kinsey did a series of, granted, very unethical studies to track actual same-sex behaviors. He developed the Kinsey scale, a spectrum that says most people are not exclusively heterosexual or homosexual. At a scale of 0 to 6, the idea that someone might be a 2 was an absolute atomic bomb in the culture.
What are you?
Probably like a 4.
Oh, really?
The like super Tumblr definition of me, I would say, is non-binary, bisexual, homoromantic.
I thought I was a 3 because I thought that was just like where a bisexual would be.
Mm-hmm.
But to be very honest, I think I'm actually probably like a 2. Because I'm kind of more like what did you call it? My definition?
I said my Tumblr words.
Oh, mine would be like bisexual, but more like demisexual.
Mm-hmm.
But also a little like aromantic is when you don't like romance, right?
Yep.
What's the one where you just... Yeah, I might be aromantic. I don't know. I think it's a challenging scale because it doesn't account for some other stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So like
it's a very flawed measure for sure.
Sure. But like I think I would be like a 2 because I'm just not all that interested in the entire thing altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Right? His wife's name was Clara, and she assisted him with his studies. And I know this because I stage managed a musical called Dr. Sex.
Oh my God.
That was about Alfred Kinsey.
That's incredible. I didn't know that existed. Alfred Kinsey is a personal hero. Not above reproach. I'm happy to criticize him 8 Ways to Sunday, but a personal hero of mine.
Oh, yeah. Look up Dr. Sex. It was like in the early aughts at some point. We did it here in Chicago, and it had pretty good music.
Importantly for us in our conversation today, Kinsey also presented homosexuality as an acceptable way of life that did not need to be cured. Mm-hmm. Alfred Kinsey is credited as being the first sexologist, at least in Western United States, whatever culture. I say this not only to gas up my very unethical boy, but mostly to say there has been a lot of research and thought throughout the history of psychology and sexology that affirm homosexuality as a natural variation of the human experience. Any attempts to say that it's some novel invention are just wrong and incorrect. In the 1950s, a prevailing narrative of homosexuality, similar to that of Joseph Nicolosi, that effeminacy in young boys predicted adult homosexuality and could be addressed by policing their behaviors to conform with expected gender presentations. There's a guy named Richard Green who it seemed Nicolosi copy and pasted his notes from. Like it basically is exactly the things that Nicolosi was saying here. In 1969, the Stonewall riots led to a new wave of gay rights activism led by Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, 2 trans women of color. In part, this conflation of gay shit and gender in the psychological literature and culture at large helps explain why gay became the umbrella for the community. They were all gay, all of them were sissies, just of various types. After Stonewall, there were consistent efforts to create a more affirming culture for queer people, including at the American Psychological Association. And in 1973, the APA took homosexuality out of the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the book of all listed mental disorders. Homosexuality was no longer classified as a mental illness. This was controversial at the time. James Dobson famously quit the APA because of this. But it was so controversial that people forced members of the APA to vote on this decision. And that vote was affirmed by the majority of APA members. So it was controversial in the culture, but not super in the psychological literature. And to be clear, while this conversation was pushed by gay activists, the change was made because the research was there. Living an openly queer life is not itself pathological. We have known this, and attempts to change it are ineffective at best and harmful at worst. We've known this too. Dobson and Nicolosi knew this. Both of them are professionals in the psychological sphere. They are familiar with the studies, and they actively choose to reject them for their own personal means. After this changed at the APA, the conversation about conversion therapy kind of petered out. It didn't totally go away, but there is widespread condemnation of the practice in pretty much all corners of legitimate psychological teaching. It is not a recognized practice. Every major psychological institution and medical institution has statements about how ineffective and harmful it can be. It just isn't a thing. But not Joseph. In 1991, Nicolosi published the book Homosexuality in the Adult Male, arguing the same bullshit points that we've talked about. That it's about the dad and gender and penises and whatever. His model of not therapy was called reparative therapy, because you have to repair the rupture in self-image and feelings about your dad to not be gay anymore, apparently. In 1993, he created the National Association for the Research and Treatment of Homosexuality, or NARTH. And their whole agenda was to reclassify homosexuality as an illness and promote conversion therapy efforts. Nicolosi was the icon of conversion therapy post-AIDS. I don't know that the practice would have died out if not for him. Bigots tend to find a way. But it is indisputable to me that Joseph Nicolosi kept those ideas afloat, limping along for many, many years. And James Dobson was there to prop him up, give him advertising, give him a moral edge to his work, provide a network of vulnerable kids, teens, and adults to be referred to Nicolosi and his minions. He gave him an audience. And it was mentioned a couple times in these clips, the book Preventing Homosexuality had not yet been published because no reputable source wanted to publish this book because it's not a reputable book. Mm-hmm. And in part because of Dobson's efforts, it was printed. They found a publisher for it. If Joseph Nicolosi is the father of modern conversion therapy, James Dobson is the creepy uncle.
That's so good.
Thank you! That is the title of this episode.
Yay, good.
Part 3. Impact. According to the Trevor Project, in 2023, there were over 1,300 licensed therapists and counselors openly providing conversion therapy in the United States.
Are you kidding me?
No. And that's not counting the amount of biblical counselors who provide such services, and readers of the show will know how I feel about biblical counselors. This is people with an active license who are advertising it. Many more people do it in secret because it's not a very good look. The practice has not gained any more credibility since. If anything, it's been further discredited. But the culture that Nicolosi and Dobson cultivated has grown, culminating recently in the recent Supreme Court decision, Childs v. Salazar, which said that therapists have a right to practice conversion therapy because free speech.
What? That doesn't make sense.
It was a counselor in Colorado who said that Colorado made conversion therapy for kids illegal, and she said that that was a violation of her free speech. I could go on for hours.
I'm going to sit with that for a second. That doesn't make any sense to my brain.
Yeah, I could go on for hours why this is
Free
bad and
speech
wrong. But let's talk about the free speech issue.
Yeah, free speech does not mandate how I get to be a therapist.
Say more.
Because it's not about my opinions. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's like this is the field. Like, do I believe in free speech as a concept? Sure. But it's not about, like, it's not an important thing when I'm treating a client.
Therapists have a lot of restrictions on our speech.
Yeah.
And I would argue rightfully so. There are things legally that we cannot say. We legally cannot tell suicidal people to kill themselves, for instance. There are also things that we must say. Compelled speech. Legally, compelled speech is considered more intrusive to free speech than things you're not allowed to say. If a client makes a threat about someone, we have to tell that person and the police. And this precedent was decided by the Supreme Court in a case referred to colloquially as Tarasoff. Literally, they're called Tarasoff warnings. We are compelled to speak. There are lots of restrictions on our speech. And I think you made a really good point. When I'm in therapy, I'm not talking about my opinion on things.
But also, like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I've had clients talk about things that are really important to them that are very much different values than mine, right? It doesn't matter. Because I'm not there to convince them of my values. It's not political. It is like, my job is to say, okay, this is something that's important to them. How is it showing up? What is Why are we talking about it? What is whatever, right? And I have to take a beat as a therapist, but this is something we're trained to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have to take a beat to be like, that's a different opinion or value than mine, but it's not harming them, right?
And that harm is the point.
Mm-hmm.
Our free speech is limited to protect others, to minimize harm, and our compelled speech is also done to do the same.
This is wild.
So why, if speech as therapist is limited to protect others, why is conversion therapy okay?
Wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
Conversion therapy isn't just about speech. It's a practice.
This is, I think, there are a couple of things that the Supreme Court fundamentally gets wrong in this, but the main one is talk therapy is a medical discipline. It's delivered through speech technically, but that's not the legal definition of speech in the free speech sense. When I say I'm not giving my opinion, not that I give advice, but I'll say the advice that I give is based on the scientific literature, based on what we know about best practices, based on what we know about what works and what doesn't. I have a lot of feelings about police and why they're bad, but I'm legally required to do some stuff for police to minimize harm with police, right? Like that, my political opinions are not in the practice in that way. The Supreme Court misunderstands talk therapy. It's medicine delivered through talking. It's not quote unquote free speech.
Right.
But also, the Supreme Court is made up of a lot of dumb people.
What?
And Dobson and Nicolosi created enough bullshit to give cover to conversion therapists. While in the actual professional community, it is not controversial at all to say absolutely conversion therapy should be outlawed. There are enough quote-unquote experts the Alliance Defending Freedom could find, because of course they led the legal arguments in this case, to tell the Supreme Court it's just a difference of opinion.
I have to practice different types of therapy that I learned in grad school.
Mm-hmm.
I can do variations of them. They don't all have to be necessarily like the evidence-based ones, but I cannot just be like winging it and
Correct.
free speech in it.
We have to make a formal treatment plan for
Right.
every client that we see that's, especially if we're going through insurance, that says, here's the mode of therapy that I'm using.
And if I put conversion therapy on there would be some questions. So
I mean,
like,
they use euphemisms, but yes.
yeah, of course. But like it is specifically a type of therapy that when I was in grad school anyway, we learned was debunked and like false and that you don't do.
Correct.
Okay, sorry. I'm just like baffled by this.
We are seeing a resurgence in conversion therapy, this time with trans kids as the primary target. Shiles v. Salazar was about trying to make kids not trans anymore. It's another somewhat of a tangent, but the current euphemism is like gender exploration therapy, which infuriates me because when you're working with kids and trans kids, you let them explore the gender. That's part of the best practices. I don't have any stake in whether or not a person that I see is actually trans or not, right?
We're not trying to make people trans.
No! And I take such a non-directive approach. A kid comes to me and says, I'm trans, and I go, tell me all about that. And sometimes it takes some time for people to feel solid in their identity. The best practices for working with trans people and trans kids already lets them explore. So this idea of, oh no, it's gender exploration therapy. What they're doing is conversion therapy. They're trying to make kids not trans, and they're just putting a fancy label on top of it. It's the same playbook as before. Detransitioners are the new ex-gay. Bigotry gets recycled like Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
So gross.
The legalization for torture of queer kids rests squarely, but not solely, at the feet of James Dobson and Joseph Nicolosi. And this fucking tape is an artifact of and distillation of their methods. We've mentioned it a couple times before, but this isn't just or even primarily a clinical conversation. It's a political one. If these are things that can be changed, you don't have to stay gay or trans or whatever, then you don't need equal rights. It's not torture for its own sake, although these sick fucks definitely get off on that. It's part of a broader political movement to subjugate queer people and anyone who doesn't conform to their ideas of patriarchy. It feels whatever to make a slippery slope argument, but we don't want boys to become girls. We don't want gay men to become effeminate. We don't want women to step out of line and try to become leaders in the church or tell me what to do, right? Like it's all of these things are so related. It's all manifestations of sexism and misogyny. It's also, I give absolutely no quarter to people who try to actually about the Salazar decision. It's the same shit that we know is bad and wrong. I'm sorry if your personal bigotry stops you from seeing it. You're dumb and you should feel bad about yourself. Part 4. I have been significantly limiting my social media use because it's toxic and gross and I only feel bad about it. But I was on Threads recently and I saw a Christian ask something to the effect of, how can I love the LGBTQ plus community and also believe that it's a sin? My gut reaction is, you can't. Don't make yourself feel good about your bigotry. If you want to be a rowdy bitch, stand up and be one, fucker. And while I stand by that answer, I think a more useful answer is, be an unapologetic advocate for our rights. Be super vocal that conversion therapy is all kinds of ineffective and harmful and wrong. Work relentlessly to let trans kids play sports. Call out your people when their scriptural analysis so easily turns into unabashed bigotry. Love is a verb, and unless you are fighting tooth and nail to make sure all queer people live with dignity, respect, and safety, you aren't being loving, you just want a sticker. Okay, the last part of the script is admittedly somewhat tangential, but I refuse to end this episode just on rage, however justified it might be. Brooke, in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a Christian band called Avalon.
Avalon?
Avalon.
Avalon.
A-V-A-L-O-N. Technically, it's still going, but they were most popular in the 90s and early 2000s, and also it's like kind of a boy band where like one person rotates in and out, and it's kind of Ship of Theseus thing. It was a pop group, and one of the members said that the manager was trying to make the Christian analog to ABBA, because a lot of the Christian music industry, especially then, was like, oh, this is the popular thing? What's the Christian version of it? And they were fairly successful. They won some Dove Awards, which are like the Christian Grammys. They were also nominated for a Grammy in 2002, and they won an American Music Award in 2003. Their biggest hit was a song called Testify to Love. The song itself was originally written and recorded by a band in Holland, but Avalon's version was an instant hit. It's not quite a one-hit wonder situation, but it's pretty close. If you know Avalon from anything, you know the song. I mentioned the story to Kevin, and he didn't recognize the name, but as soon as I said Testify to Love, he knew instantly what it was. For reasons that we'll talk about, I listened to the song, and I was instantly transported to being 5 years old in the back of the car in California, driving down the interstate, listening to, what was it, The Fish FM?
Oh, yeah.
Like instantly transport you back. But Avalon had a secret. One of the founding members, a guy named Michael Passons, was gay. He attended reparative therapy before, but when he was a member of Avalon, he was caught at a gay bar, I think.
Mr. Peace.
I wish. That'd be an incredible coincidence. I think it was a gay bar. They're kind of vague on the details of where he was, but he was caught in a place where he shouldn't have been. And the band management made him go to another conversion therapist. Obviously, neither of these things worked because conversion therapy isn't a real thing. And at this point, he said as much, like, I'm not going back. This doesn't work. And then he was swiftly and quietly kicked out of the band. And then he was just kind of gone. It destroyed his life for many years. He got really depressed. He lost his career and much of his support system. He didn't come out to his family until like the 2020s. But in 2020, Michael Passons went on a podcast called Jonah and the Whale and, for the first time, talked about what actually happened. That he was kicked out for being gay and for kind of refusing to attend conversion therapy. And that was the first time he'd come out publicly at all. Several of his former Avalon bandmates are still close friends of his and celebrated his journey. And then last week, as of recording, Michael Passons and two of his friends and former Avalon members, Ty Herndon and Melissa Green, released an updated version of Testify to Love. And Brooke, I'm going to play it for you, and then I'm going to read some of the lyrics.
Yes.
Editing Jake here. Obviously, I cannot play the full song for you on the podcast because of copyright and all of that. But if you're hearing this, that means I'm able to include just a small little snippet to jog your memory. Here it is.
For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love.
Nice.
There's a video of them performing it together, and it did make me cry. Just
Huh.
the full story of that kind of reclamation. Michael Passons is not a Christian man. That's not how he identifies, but he still identifies as pretty spiritual. And I think, one, it's really notable that how many people really raised in the evangelical circle don't believe in Christianity at all anymore. I think that is a condemnation of the whole ordeal. But also that there's one mention of God in the song, but really it's just more like testified to the power of love. One of the people, Melissa Green, was there when he was kicked out. She was kind of new to the band. She wasn't leading the charge, but she was there. She's now a pastor and an affirming one.
Wow, interesting.
It's really beautiful. It is a testament to love. because this is the truth of queerness. It's the reason why I am so glad that I am queer. Bigotry and secrets can only destroy, and they're inherently self-destructive. But love, the love for ourselves and the love for each other, based on authenticity and intimacy, vulnerability and honesty, that creates. No matter where you are in your journey, it is not too late to come out, for whatever that means for you. The greatest gift we can give each other is knowing and being known by others. And no matter how hard fuckers like Joseph Nicolosi try to stamp it out, they never will. Because honestly, love conquers all. I know that to be true. I also know that I hate James Dobson, and that's a legacy I'm down to destroy.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I hate James Dobson. I really hate
Joseph Nicolosi.
Joseph Nicolosi.
I had this in a version of the script and then I cut it. Nicolosi's dead.
Oh, yeah. Great.
When I was in college, my freshman year, I was particularly angry at these organizations. And so somewhere I have recordings of me calling both Focus on the Family and NARTH. And I just said, hey, I have a friend who's coming out. What advice would you have? And they all recommended conversion therapy. And then I yelled at them on the phone to be like, that's torture. You're evil. You're sick. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And so I've been following Nicolosi's career for a while since then. He died in 2017.
Oh, okay.
On March 9th, 2017. And remember how good it felt when Dobson died?
Yeah.
It was definitely more celebratory for me when Dobson died because I got to share with people.
Yeah.
But that same energy was for me that day that Nicolosi died. He is and was one of my main enemies in life. I had made it a personal mission to try to tear down his legacy, as I have with Dobson. Fuck that guy. I hate Joseph Nicolosi.
I hate him so much.
Oh, his son's now in charge of NARTH.
Of course. Of course.
As we come to the end of our episode, I am proud to thank our certified haters who helped make the show possible, and more importantly, make sure Brooke gets the pizza that she deserves. So a big thanks to Aaron H., Ben, Betsy C., Brenda, aka Wrong Brenda, Bunny with a Switchblade, Kaylee A., Cardamon, Chad S., Crystalline, Des, Drew, L., Jerry L., Hannah B., Hannah L., Helly R., Jamie B., Jared B., Jen F., Jenna KD, Jennifer A., Joanna, Julie Beth of Tarth, Cami, Carissa, KDM, Christopher W., Lindsay, Lindsay D., Lyra S., Mara N., Margaret H., Megan, Melody B., Melody S., MJ Russell 221B, Nate is Great 148, Peter H., Rachel H., Revio 717, Sawyer N., Sean L., Spruce, Stacy, The Worst of All Possible Worlds, Theo, Timothy D.N., Tor W., Tyler M., Unwritten Page, The Vigilante Librarian, and Ray.
Here's my message for everybody on this wonderful Pride weekend. Get together, wear your colors, be out loud and proud, and just love one out.
Perfect. So that's where we'll end it. Bye, everybody!
Bye!
I Hate James Dobson is a product of Red House Media and is a labor of love, spite, written, recorded, edited, and produced by me, Jake. I'm honored to be joined on this journey by my amazing co-host, Brooke. If you're enjoying the show, please consider rating and reviewing it. And if you want to connect with us more, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/IHateJamesDobson. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Reddit, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Facebook at IHateJamesDobson. You can email us at IHateJamesDobson@gmail.com. We have merch available at IHateJamesDobson.printful.me, or, if all of that's too much, simply go to IHateJamesDobson.com to find everything about the show. Our theme music is by Moonbase, and the song is called Trendsetter. Special thanks, as always, to Drew, Lindsay, DJ, Jack, Gary, and Karina. And thank you, reader, for enjoying our show. Welcome to I Hate James Dobson, Does bi-weekly mean twice a week, or we have orgies every week?
Oh God, is this going to be about bisexuals? I ate too many pieces of pizza.
What an excellent problem to have.
It really was.